Hello everyone and welcome to the 52nd episode of NiinaN Knitting. My name is Niina and I live in Jyväskylä in central Finland with my husband, our 2 kids and a dog. You can find me on Ravelry as Niinima and on Instagram I'm NiinaN Knitting. We also have a Ravelry group for this podcast and that's called NiinaN Knitting Podcast. And you can find a link to that in the description box down below. You'll find show notes in there for each episode. Today is December 20th, almost Christmas. It's been quite a while. It's been crazy. Super busy trying to finish stuff. And it's quite a patchwork of an episode. So sorry, and sorry for the lighting too. It's about 3 p.m. now. It's getting darker outside and I'm just going to try and get this part done so that I can get the episode glued together and uploaded onto YouTube maybe this evening or probably tomorrow. So what do I have for you? I have a few finished objects. Just one work in progress, one that I've been working on. There are stuff that I haven't finished, but just one finished object that I have been working on. No, not finished. Just one work in progress that I have been working on. And then I have some yarn. I have a little bit more yarn too. I just don't have it in here. And I'm going to show it to you once I get started working on it. Now I have my birthday yarn, the one that I got for my birthday, and something that I bought from Prague on my trip there at the end and at the end of November, beginning of December. I'll be showing them to you more or less quickly. Right, my finished objects aren't here. I have video footage of all of them. Here's the first one. Right, here's my first finished object, the second pair of rainbow socks. I showed you the first one last time, and last time I had finished one sock. Just got snow last night. And I had started the second one. Here I was last time. I have finished it. And I finished the pair. And like I said, it's the second pair. The first pair is actually over here. So I'll be able to send them to the recipient once I get back from Prague. The yarn I used here is Novita 7, just the regular black, and then the striped one is Novita 7 Raita stripes in rainbow colorway. And I got the stitch count from Novita site, like 52 stitches I think, and I did 6 rounds of 2x2 rib, and then started helical knitting, striping the black and the rainbow yarn, and then did this heart with some slip stitches, and then did the heel in black, just a normal slip stitch heel flap. Will it focus? I don't know, but it's black, you can't see it. And then a Dutch heel turn in, and the rest, they are both size 43 I think. So yeah, they're done. And the next video clip is of my second and third finished object, stuff that you've seen before. So here it is. Okay, here are a couple of things I gotta get in the mail today, so that's why I'm going to take a quick video of them. That's something you saw in my last episode too. It's the wild rose
backpack by Sarah Jessica Lau, free pattern on Ravelry. And I used Novita Seitsemänvälistä yarn in both of these. This sort of granny square, that's the starting point of the backpack. I did this in Novita Seitsemänvälistä Polaris, and this is just a unicolored Novita Seitsemänvälistä. I used about 50 grams of this yarn and the whole skein of 150 grams of the it's actually not orange, more of a raspberry color. And then there is this white that is 100% acrylic. Can't remember the brand right now, but anyway. So yeah, you start with this granny square and you do the triangles, and then you stitch them up, and then you start doing the side panels, single crochet rows to one side and then to the other, and then you seam it together. And here's my seam. I did use the slip stitches that I used in the first one, but I had the tube wrong way round, so the slip stitches are here in the inside of the back now, the backpack. That's fine, it doesn't really matter. It's nice and neat and tidy seam here in the outside too. That's the, let's see, the inside of the bag. So, okay, yeah, it's focused. Polaris in the bottom part, and then just a little bit here in the pocket, and the other side of the bottom is in the unicolored yarn, because I knew I had enough of it. And then there's the third one. This is a little bit different. This is Novita Seitsemänvälistä Raita, which is a striped yarn. So if you make socks of it, you'll get even stripes. But of course, it works differently in crochet and in a project like this. And then I had just this sort of an orange, I think, salmon color, unicolored yarn, but I only had this one skein of it, and here you can see the slip stitches on the outside like they were supposed to be. Doesn't matter. Then I did the top part of it, and then this part like in the pattern, and it started to look like I would run out of this one colored yarn, and that's why I made the both bottom parts, so the one that's outside and the one that is inside the bag, they're both from the striped yarn, because let me show you. Well, I only had a little bit of the orange left, so I did have, of course, enough to make a pocket, because I was able to use other scraps for it. But yeah, they're all done. I actually have the third one here also, and they're going in the mail tomorrow. I decided to make something really quickly for my 1-year-old nephew, I guess he's a nephew, my sister-in-law's son, and so I made him a pair of pants. They look really narrow in the leg, but I do know that the boy's kind of skinny. I hope they fit. And then I just added an NiinaN. Is this dragon or something? The pattern is from Kangaskapina, just the basic pants pattern. And this one is going in the mail tomorrow.
And my fourth and final finished object is not here, but I took some video of it, didn't talk anything while I was taking the video, so I'm just going to talk about them right now. So one of my colleagues asked me if I might knit a pair of socks for her, or actually for her kid. I'm guessing son, but I'm not 100% sure. This child does wrestling. I think Greco-Roman wrestling is the correct term in English. That's why I think it's a boy. It doesn't have to be, but yeah, that's a stereotype I have. Anyway, so there's this sports club for this particular sport here in Jyväskylä, I think just the one, and they have a logo. And she asked me if so she, as my colleague, asked me if I could knit a pair of socks with this logo on it. She drew me a chart, and that's where I started to work on it. So it's basically a plain vanilla sock. I cast on 64 stitches because the logo was pretty wide. I had to use Novita Venla fingering weight yarn just to fit the logo on the socks. And after doing 2x2 ribbing for some 14 rounds, I started doing plain vanilla, and after doing just a little bit in the gray, I started duplicate stitching the logo with some white yarn on the stockinette stitch texture, the gray, so some white on the gray, and that's how I continued. I knit one round, and then I stitched one round of the logo, and then I knit one round, and so forth, because the logo was pretty big, and I just didn't want to, I wanted to keep track of where I was. So I found that easiest for me to do that way. Yeah, it was quite a task. And no, I'm not going to start doing those, like producing them in series, because, oh my goodness. Yes, it was fine to do it, and I was happy to do that once. But yeah, thanks. That's all that I can do. Besides plain vanilla knitting, how boring is that? So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll continue doing textured socks and not plain vanilla, because that's just not my cup of tea. Did I write something down? Yes, I did. I used my 3.0 millimeter circular needles. I knit them 2 at a time on magic loop, and 3.5 to 3.0 millimeter is US size 2.5. And I once I got the leg done, because she wanted the leg to be long enough so that when the kid was using the socks in his or her skates, because they skate during the winter, the leg would be long enough to sort of poke from under the skates or whatever. Anyway, so it had to be 25 centimeters long. And I don't know what that is in inches. You can Google it. Yeah, well, once I got to the ankle, I decreased 4 stitches because it was the socks were for a child, and they tend to have narrow feet. And my colleague said that her kid has narrow feet, so I did 60 stitches only in the foot. I did a regular slip stitch, heel flap, and Dutch heel turn, and that's just gusset decreases and so forth. Basic, very basic socks, apart from the logo on the leg. So yeah, they turned out nice, and my colleague was really happy with them. But yes, I'm happy also that I finished them. Besides, I wanted to get them done a little bit before Christmas so that I could give them to my colleague when I was going to the office for the last time before Christmas. So I was in a bit of a hurry to finish them. But yeah, they're done, and I'm happy. Right, so my only work in progress is also from Novita Venla Yarn. So this is the ball band. It's a fingering weight yarn, 400 meters in 100 grams, 420 meters in 100 grams, 75% wool, 25% polyamide. And I'm knitting again in 3.0 millimeter circs, 2 at a time on magic loop, and this time these are from my sister. She had her birthday yesterday, and I'm going to give these either as her birthday gift or as a Christmas present. I don't know which, but they are a pair of Rose City rollers, and no, you can't really see it much. This is sort of a red color, just the basic red. I'm assuming this is the right ball band. It has the color number 543. I guess this is the red. But yeah, so it's the Rose City Rollers by Mara Catherine Briner. It's free of charge pattern on Ravelry. It has this rolled leg. Well, it doesn't have a leg at all. My sister, unlike me, is always hot. She nearly never uses woolen socks, so I just figured that she might like shorties, and that's why I started knitting her a pair of these, because people have knit tons and tons of the Rose City rollers, and I thought it was quite a fun idea, so that's why I started knitting her a pair. And I'm using the pattern, which is really simple and really easy. But the only modification I've made is that I made an eye of partridge heel flap, and not just regular slip stitch heel as in the pattern. But well, it doesn't differ from the regular slip stitch heel flap much. You just change the place of the slip stitch every other or every other right side row, let's say. Yeah, but I have partridge heel, French heel turn, and I've started the gusset decreases. They look, in this light, it looks very, very orange, but it is actually like very Christmas red, I'd say. If you have a pair of Chaogu needles, the color of the yarn is pretty close. And it's actually pretty close to the yarn of the shirt I'm wearing. The sweater is Breathing Space by Veera Välimäki. I knit this a few years ago. It's too big. It's not very presentable. The MCN Merino Cashmere Nylon yarn tends to shed and it doesn't look very nice, but it's comfy and I'm just at home. So, well, I was in the shops, but I was wearing my winter coat there, so it doesn't matter which shirt I was wearing underneath. Anyway, I'm this far of the sock or of the leg, so it really doesn't have much of anything else than just the heel and then the leg. But we'll be seeing each other on Christmas, and of course, they'll be ready by then because I'm assuming I can finish the socks today or tomorrow at the latest. So, yeah, nice and quick project. And besides, red is my sister's favorite color, so that's why I chose this yarn. And Novita Venla is very, very inexpensive. You can find it in grocery stores here in Finland. Although Venla, which is the fingering weight version, is not as common as the heavier weight yarns we have. So Nalle, which is sports weight, and Novita Seitsemänversta, which is DK or Aaron, something heavier. But you don't have they get that much Novita Venla in the smaller grocery stores where you can find the thicker, heavier weight yarns. But yeah, anyway, that's it, and that's my only work in progress. Once I finish this, yes, I have another pair of socks on the go. I showed them, don't think I showed them last time, maybe in episode number 50. She blinded me with science socks. Haven't made any progress on them, but I think they're the next pair to make. Okay, then just some stash enhancement. My birthday present. Like I said last time, I had my birthday at the end of November on the 22nd, and my sister, the one that gave to whom I'm making the socks, she had told me that she might get me some yarn, and she did. She's not a knitter, so I'd say she did really well by choosing these yarns. She lives in Järvenpää, which is in the southern part of Finland, and they have this wonderful yarn store called Lentävä Lapanen in there. So that's where she got these yarns from. Well, first of all, she got me these two skeins of Lang yarns, Mille Colori socks and lace locks. And this is a fingering weight yarn, 400 meters about, in 100 grams, 73% virgin wool, 25% polyamide, and 2% polyester, which is the glitter. And yes, it shows really nicely in this light. That's the only good thing about this light, right? So I'm guessing the colorway number is 103. It's an assumption. It doesn't say which of these numbers is the colorway. So I have two different colorways of this yarn, and aren't they just nice? Really nice. And that's how they'll knit up, more or less. Oh, they're nice. They're really nice. So I got these, and that wasn't all. She also got me 2 balls of, and yes, I'm trying to pronounce this. So this is Schachenmeier, Regia, premium silk, and I have 2 of these too. So this is color 80, and I just put it on Ravelry in my stash, and it said that the 80 is rose red. I'd say more like burgundy, but yeah, that's what it said in there. And then this other color is number, I lost it. It was somewhere here. Number 31. This is like a, I don't know, dusky rose, whatever. On Ravelry it only said ROS. I'm not sure if it should have been something a little longer, like rosé or something, but whatever. This is like, it's not a pink, it's maybe dusky pink, I'd say. But it has 55% wool and 25% polyamide and 20% silk. So, I'm not sure what I'm gonna make, but it'll be pretty. This is a fingering weight, 400 meters in 100 grams. So these are my Christmas, not Christmas, my birthday present from my sister. And then another stash enhancement. Last time I talked to you, I said that I was going to Prague with my work, with my colleagues. And Prague, that is the capital of the Czech Republic, for those of you who aren't from around here and just don't know, or well, just in case you didn't know, Prague is the capital of the Czech Republic. And we were visiting the university in there and some other places, but we had a lot of free time too. Prague is beautiful. I'm just gonna mention it later on. But one of the things that I found online before I went there was that they have, of course, some yarn stores in there. I visited a couple of sort of more like department stores with a department for yarn. Nothing special in them, but then I had found a yarn store called Yarn Queen, and I went there, and oh, that was a jackpot. It was such a nice little store. The store owner was immensely friendly. She was very apologetic about her English, but she was very good. I had some questions, and she gave me just the answers I needed to know, and there was nothing wrong with her English. But anyway, but yeah. So first of all, I got this tote bag, and then she gave me a badge of her store, and then I got some yarn. Because, you know, when you go to Prague, and I haven't been abroad for ages. When I was a kid, when I still lived with my parents, we used to go abroad once a year. My dad worked for Finnair, which is the Finnish aviation company, and so we got some discounts, and we went abroad once a year. And but well, once I started studying, and then moved to Jyväskylä and started studying and family and all that, no money. I haven't been abroad for too long, and now that I got to go someplace, of course I had to get some souvenirs from Prague. So, okay, first of all, this one is a Czech yarn, because when I went in the store and I started, you know, touching and watching and asking about the yarns, I told the store owner that I would like to see some Czech yarn. So she brought in the front a basket of yarn, and she said that it's been dyed by a friend of hers. And so I got this. This is a single ply, 100% superwash merino, and this is the name of the yarn. So that's Volnarium, I think. This is the yarn brand, and I'm guessing this says merino single ply. It's in Czech. And no, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce it, but I'm going to write it in the show notes. And there's also a link to the website, which is in Czech, and I went to see that. But yeah, I think this looks really nice, and I have an orange winter coat. And I really don't have a beanie to go with it. So when I wanted to choose a yarn from the range she had, and that I could use to knit myself a hat. I think this is the color name. It's called Miss Light One. There's 366 meters in 100 grams. And this is like a sort of golden color with specks of red, at least. I really like it. It's pretty. She had others too, but I just decided, and it was compared to Finnish prices, it wasn't expensive. And of course, I had to get something nice as a souvenir. So this is a Czech yarn, or at least it was dyed in the Czech Republic. But then there was another yarn that I wanted to try. This is Romanian, and these are naturally this color. So the yarn is called Moeke yarns. They have a site, the website, and Elena is the single ply, and this is, I got a card with some info in English, and this is 100% Romanian sheep wool, and it's about 330 meters in 100 grams, more or less. And they also had a brown color, but I chose these two, and I haven't decided what to make with them, but they're nice. and yeah, rustic, that's for sure. But yeah, I think there'll be something nice. I'm and even thinking about color work. Even though if you've seen my podcast before, you'll know that I'm not a color work enthusiast, but this time I'm pretty sure I'll try something. Once I get around to it, I don't have, well, it's not in my plans in the near future because I have other really nice things to do. But yeah, these are my souvenirs from Prague, and I'm really happy I got them. And if you ever go to Prague, I highly recommend this yarn store. It wasn't in the center where everything, like with all the hotels and nice stores. It was, I think, about 3 kilometers from the city center, from the heart of the city. So that's 2 miles, about, I think. Um, but it was worth it. Besides, uh, like I said, Prague was beautiful, and yes, I'm going into the chatter part. um, it was a beautiful, beautiful city. The buildings are amazing, and yeah, the center is nice. They had their Christmas markets opened already, so there were these booths of stuff to eat and drink, hot wine, and that was nice because it wasn't hot in there. It was a few degrees uh, above 0 Celsius when we were there, so it was nice to have a cup of hot wine. But yeah, so the center is very nice, and they have these huge stores with everything. Uh, and yeah, and it was just, there were a lot of people, yeah, a lot of tourists, but I got the impression that it was just so friendly. Yeah, I really enjoyed walking there, just walking and looking around, and didn't really buy that much. I wasn't there to buy stuff. I was uh, just watching and enjoying um, the sceneries. That was really nice. So, so it was really nice to just walk around. And the city center, yes, they have a lot of stores, big stores. But when I was walking to the yarn store, to the Yarn Queen store, I was seeing a different part of Prague, and I assume it's where like the regular people live, because you don't live in the center with the hotels and all that. You you live a little way away from the city center, and that looked like the sort of um, places where normal people live, and still the buildings were old and beautiful, just a little less, jingle and sparkling and all that. Very nice though, very nice. Yeah, so if you ever go to Prague, check out Yarn Queen. It was really nice. Yeah, I think that's more or less what I have for you today. Um, Christmas is next week. Yay! We're going to my mom's as usual. We're staying there. We're spending Christmas Eve at my sister's. She lives in the same city. And Christmas Eve is the day for us Finns. Uh, we'll be getting a visit from Santa, and so we'll have some, Christmas dinner, and then Santa will come. Then we'll go to the sauna and just, relax and enjoy being there with no rush and all that. So that's gonna be nice. On Christmas Day, we'll be at my mother's again. Christmas dinner. Both my sisters will be there, so the one that doesn't live in the same city with my sister, with my mom, will also come with her family, and we'll all get to meet them and spend a little time with them. So that'll be nice. And of course, since we're there in the southern part of Finland, we'll also be visiting my brother-in-law, I think, at least. So some of my husband's family too. Yes. Um, I hope you'll have a very nice. Well, not everybody celebrates Christmas, but holiday season. Um, I hope you get to relax and just pause for a sec and just enjoy other people's company. And if you're alone, if you spend Christmas alone, I hope you can still enjoy, I don't know, good food, knitting, crocheting, podcasts, TV. I hope the weather will be nice wherever you are. I've heard that it's horrible down in Australia. Wow. Um, I know I've complained about Finnish weather. At the this moment we have snow, which is really nice. But we've had some rain and darkness and yucky weather. But well, it's just terrible what's happening in Australia. Can't even imagine how frightening it must be to have these huge forest fires. And well, I hope everybody's coping with it more or less. Okay, I'm just gonna stop here because this is all I have for you today, and I have to go and pick up my daughter from daycare, from preschool. It's her last day, and she'll be starting her vacation today. So that's great. Um, I hope you have a nice time, and I'll see you probably next year, 2020. See ya. Bye.